Before we start, I want you to do something that feels slightly uncomfortable. Press your index finger against the surface of whatever is in front of you. A desk, a phone, your own knee. You feel a distinct stop. Your brain interprets this as solidity. It tells you that two objects cannot occupy the same space. But in the world of quantum field theory, there is no such thing as touching. The electrons in your finger are simply repelling the electrons in the object. You are feeling a localized rejection of electromagnetic force. Now here is the architectural crisis. If you were to remove the empty space from every atom in the human race, the entire population of Earth would fit inside the volume of a single sugar cube. Everything you see, everything you love, and everything you fear is essentially 99% empty space being rendered as solid by a specific neurological filter. We are going to audit that filter today. We are going to look at the source code of what Michael Talbot called the holographic universe. Once you understand that reality is a projection, you stop being a victim of the shadows on the wall, and you start being the architect of the light. The 1982 fracture, the aspect anomaly. Our investigation begins in 1982 at the University of Paris, Sud. A physicist named Alain Aspect performed an experiment that effectively ended the era of classical common sense. Aspect and his team fired pairs of photons in opposite directions. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, nothing can travel faster than light. If these two particles are moving away from each other, they should be independent. But Aspect found a glitch in the matrix. When he changed the polarization of one photon, the other changed instantly. The term instantly is vital here. There was no travel time for a signal, no hidden radio wave. The two particles were acting as one, despite being separated by kilometers of space. This left the scientific community with two terrifying options. Either Einstein was wrong and information can travel faster than light, or separation itself is a total illusion. David Bohm, a protege of Einstein and one of the most brilliant theoretical physicists of the 20th century, chose the latter. Bohm realized that the photons appeared separate only because we were looking at a lower dimension of reality. He argued that at a deeper, enfolded level, those two photons were the exact same thing. He realized the universe is not a collection of parts. It is a single, undivided wholeness. Bohm called it the implicate C, Bohm's hidden order. In 1980, David Bohm published Wholeness and the Implicate Order. He introduced a concept that makes standard manifestation look like primitive superstition. He called our visible world the explicate order. This is the froth on the ocean, the things we can touch. But he argued the explicate order is constantly unfolding from a much deeper, invisible reality called the implicate order. To visualize this, imagine a glass cylinder filled with thick, clear glycerin. Imagine a single drop of black ink placed in that glycerin. When you turn the handle of the cylinder, the ink stretches. It becomes a line, then a faint gray blur, then it vanishes. To the naked eye, the ink is gone. It is nothingness. If you turn the handle in the opposite direction, the gray blur reappears, bunches back up, and becomes a solid black drop again. Bohm's math proved that the nothingness of empty space is actually like that glycerin. It is packed with enfolded information. Every event that has ever happened, and every event that could ever happen, is currently enfolded in the implicate order of the space you are sitting in right now. You do not attract a new life. You simply turn the handle of your consciousness until a different version of reality unfolds into the explicate. This is why distance is a myth. In a holographic system, every point contains the information of the entire whole. The ghost in the brain. Pribram's revelation. While Bohm was solving the universe, Karl Pribram was solving the human mind. Pribram was a world-class neuroscientist at Stanford who spent years trying to find where memory is stored in the brain. He followed the work of Carl Lashley, who trained rats to run mazes and then systematically removed parts of their brains to see when they would forget the route. The results were haunting. No matter how much of the brain was removed, the rats still knew how to run the maze. Memory was not in a single spot. It was distributed through the entire organ. In 1971, Pribram read a description of a hologram and had a cognitive explosion. He realized that the brain stores memory exactly like a holographic plate. If you take a holographic image of a car and cut the film into 4 pieces, you do not get 4 quarters of a car. You get 4 complete, albeit slightly blurrier, cars. Every fragment holds the entire image. Pribram proposed that the brain does not see objects. It is a frequency analyzer. It takes the chaotic interference patterns of the universe and uses a mathematical process called a Fourier transform to render them into the shapes we see. Your brain is not a camera. It is a projector. It takes a frequency soup and turns it into a world. The 4% limitation. If the universe is a frequency realm and the brain is a holographic lens, why do we all see the same solid world? This is where the architecture becomes restrictive. Your brain has a specific hardware constraint called the thalamic gate. Every second, your senses are bombarded with billions of bits of data from the implicate order. If you perceived it all, your consciousness would incinerate. So the brain filters. It discards 96% of the data and only renders the 4% that is relevant for survival. This 4% is what we call reality. It is a low-resolution, simplified map of an infinite holographic territory. Most people spend their entire lives trying to fix their problems by moving items around inside that 4% map. That is like trying to change the weather by drawing on a window. The quantum architect understands that the map is just a result. To change the terrain, you have to bypass the thalamic gate and change the reference beam. In holographic physics, the reference beam is the pure light that hits the film to create the 3-dimensional image. In your life, that beam is your coherent intention, not a wish, but a specific, calibrated frequency. Phase conjugate physics, the editing engine. How do we edit the source code? We use a principle from nonlinear optics called phase conjugation. A phase conjugate mirror is a special type of mirror that does not just reflect light, it undoes the distortion in the beam. If you shine a distorted beam into this mirror, it comes back perfectly coherent. Your consciousness, when trained, acts as a phase conjugate mirror. Most people's thoughts are incoherent. They are scattered, anxious, and contradictory. This creates a messy, blurry interference pattern in the implicate order. The hologram of their life looks like static. But when you achieve what neuroscientists call phase locking, when your heart rhythm and brain waves synchronize, your intention becomes a laser-coherent beam. This beam hits the implicate order and forces a specific ink droplet to unfold. You are not hoping for a result. You are providing the mathematical instruction for the universe to render that result. This is the difference between a seeker and an architect. One waits for the world to change. The other provides the frequency that makes the world change. The time-space illusion. If you accept the holographic model, you have to accept that time is a secondary construct. In a hologram, there is no past or future. There is only the now, which contains all potentials. Think of a DVD. The entire movie is on the disc simultaneously. The beginning and the ending occupy the same physical space. The only reason you experience a sequence is because the laser of the DVD player is moving across the surface. You are the laser. Your present moment is just the spot where the laser is hitting the disc. But the ending where you are healthy, wealthy, and fulfilled is already on the disc. It is enfolded. It is there. You do not have to get there through linear time. You have to change the track the laser is playing. This is why deep meditation can feel like time dilation. When you quiet the self-narrating brain, you stop the laser from moving in a straight line, and you gain access to the entire disk. The phase lock protocol. To move from theory to architecture, we use the phase lock protocol. This is a clinical technique designed to disrupt your current rendering loop and install a new frequency. It takes exactly 4 minutes. Phase 1. The static reset. 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Imagine the room you are in. Now see every object, the walls, the chair, your own body, losing its color and becoming a vibrating gray static. Hear the sound of white noise. This deactivates the brain's object recognition software and signals the thalamic gate that you are ready to view the implicate order. Phase 2. The frequency anchor, 90 seconds. Pick one outcome, a specific career milestone or a state of health. Do not visualize it as a picture. Visualize it as a density. If that success were a physical weight in your chest, how heavy would it be? Feel that specific weight. Hold it steady. This is your reference beam. Phase 3. The phase conjugation, 60 seconds. Imagine that weight in your chest as a magnet. Watch the gray static of the room start to bunch up around that weight. You are turning the handle of Bohm's cylinder. You are compelling the implicate order to unfold that specific version of reality. Phase 4. The explicate lock, 30 seconds. Open your eyes. Do not look for evidence of change. Simply know that the mathematical instruction has been sent. The ink droplet has begun its return. In 1991, Michael Talbot wrote that we are the architects of a reality that is far more plastic than we have been led to believe. He was right. From the 1982 Paris experiments to the modern fMRI studies of the holographic brain, the evidence is clear. You are not a guest in this universe. You are the lens through which it views itself. The world is not solid. It is a frequency, and you have the dial in your hand. Stop fighting the projection. Edit the light. The source code is waiting.